listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
Long ago, you wouldn't think of galloping on a horse while doing calligraphy, and you wouldn't have attempted to ride your bike while typing a letter. Yet you think you can safely operate a multi-ton vehicle while texting? Behind the wheel is no place to multitask. If you want to BRB, drive now and text later. Lives depend on it.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Around any bend in any road, any time of the day or night, Central Hudson crews can be found working in the Hudson Valley. From Montgomery to Millerton, Freehold to Fishkill, and many points in between. We mark our work zones for safety's sake. As a driver, you can do your part too. Slow down, pay attention, put down the phone, and obey the flaggers. Be prepared to stop and maintain a safe distance from the vehicle in front of you. Safety matters.
Introducing the YMCA. Sure, you know the Y for a swim or a game of hoops, but we're more than that. We're a cause. When you take a jump shot at the Y, someone else is getting job training. Practice yoga as a team practices her leadership skills. We give people of all ages, incomes, and backgrounds a chance to learn, grow, and thrive. So while you might think of the Y as the place for lifting weights, we're also about lifting entire communities. That's the Y. We're so much more. Visit ymca.net/more.
Hi, this is Winnie from the Rosendale Seniors, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Visit their newest branch, conveniently located at the Ulster Commons Plaza in Lake Katrine. Experience the difference that local community banking offers with the convenience of another great location, easy access, plenty of parking, and a 24-hour ATM. Ulster Savings Bank, invested in community, invested in you. Member FDIC.
Okay, let's go, Brandon. I love saying that. I can't get in trouble for that.
That's right.
I thought our Let's Go Brandon t-shirts were going to be here today, but they didn't make it in time. Instead, I got a new post machine that I didn't know I was going to send. My mom's going to love that when she gets here in a couple hours. So anyway, how's it going, Dan?
Doing good. Good morning. Dan Gruner here. Couple of housekeeping items before we get moving. Frandy Petrillo, Savoca's schedule has changed, so unfortunately she's not going to be able to be here. So we're flying solo, Lawrence.
We're flying. That's no problem. I'm sure with me and you, as much as we talk, we can fill 2 hours at a time. We do have some guests coming in, so.
Yeah, we got Sue Marcy from the United Way of Ulster County and Bob Baum at 8 o'clock. And if you're just waking up, Kingston City schools are closed. There's a lot of flooding out there. They started off on a 2-hour delay and just announced that they are closed. So to all the kids, you get a extra day of spring break, although...
Did they use up all their snow days this year?
I think there's probably 1 or 2 left.
So that'll fall under that, right?
Yeah, so they'll be okay. I know, it's been a really rough start to spring sports with the weather.
Oh, I bet. I almost, walking to work this morning, I almost got juiced twice by puddles, guys driving by. So there's a lot. It is very wet out there. It was raining. I got up to go to the bathroom last night at like 1 in the morning, and it was like
pouring.
Yeah, pouring like crazy. So.
And I know there was supposed to be a bunch of games today, so those are obviously canceled. But I'm sure the kids won't mind. I told my son last night, I said, listen, I got to be up, to be on the radio. You got to be up and showered. And a friend was going to pick him up for school. I said, but, you got to be up at 6:30, showered, dressed, ready, before I leave the house so I know he's ready to go.
Right.
And I was shocked. He woke up at 6:30 on his own. He came in, and I said, you get to go back to bed. You got a 2-hour delay. So.
And what did they text you on that? Or you just get on the website and check that out? Or
You can sign up. Actually, it's a good service, text or email. And they send the first update at 5:30 in the morning. And then a couple years ago, they implemented if 2-hour delay by 5:30, and then they determine by 7 a.m. if they're going to close. So you're not kind of sitting around waiting to see what the deal is. That was.
Yeah, when we were kids, we had to turn on the radio.
Yeah.
And we would sit there.
That was good for your parents.
When my mom would, we would. I mean, luckily, I lived in a house where the radio was on 24 hours a day, 2 different stations all the time. So we constantly knew. But Bill Skilling would be the one that was doing that stuff, and I think that he would get calls at like 4:35 in the morning, and he would get a list of all the schools in Ulster County, and he would just go through them 2 hours, Saugerty Central Schools, Kingston City Schools, and go on and on.
I remember as like a 5th or 6th grader just sitting there anxiously awaiting,
and being like, and looking outside and being like, there shouldn't be school today.
Yep. But yeah, speaking of the schools.
A friend of mine just texted me, Kingston used their last snow day today.
Oh, today? Okay.
Yeah, today's their last snow day.
Well, hopefully this is the last weather-related, so that keeps, Memorial Day intact. And
yeah.
Because I think the first day they would take off is the back end of the Memorial Day holiday. So, but the kids are up fall next week, and then they get the Monday after off as well.
So I haven't had a chance to talk to you since your last show. I mean, I know we text on the phone all the time, but you had a lot of people watching on not Facebook. Had a lot of people watching on YouTube when you had the superintendent of schools in here, and what was his name, Jim Shaughnessy?
Yeah.
They both joined YouTube as subscribers now too. I noticed that when I was going through this week. I noticed them on there. So kudos to you and that. I had some of my teacher friends come up to me and be like, "That was an excellent show." So try to get them back on in the future if you can. I know their schedules are busy, but that was a really, really good show. You guys touched on a lot of topics, and that was excellent. Good job.
Well, thanks. And, as I closed out, the door's always open. I plan on inviting them on again. I think there's a lot more to talk about.
Maybe bring them on for an hour next time if they could fit it into their schedule. I know.
Yeah.
Some guests are worthy of an hour.
I agree. And we clearly could have gone on for an hour because we just scratched the surface. And I've had people reach out to me since that interview and thank me for, opening the conversation. And, as I was talking to a teacher last week, I said, I hope that if anything else, that interview showed that we can have a dialogue. And we need to have a dialogue with the administration and with the board. And I hope the board realized that you can't make decisions in a vacuum. The parents are a key component to the success of a school district. And if you don't have buy-in from the teachers, there's no reason to bring something forward. And the changes at Kingston High School have been delayed a year. And a lot of people say, well, that's a big victory. Well, that's just the start. You're watching education in this country, as I talked about with them both here, has become so political, it's god-awful sick.
And they agreed with you? To a point? I mean, I wasn't able to hear the show.
That was more my point than their point. But you're watching what's going on and people going ballistic about a law in the state of Florida that now states that you cannot talk about sex for kindergarten to 3rd grade. And people are attacking this law.
Usually health class in 8th grade is when we started.
My question is this, and I said this to somebody the other day. There is, in my opinion, zero reason to discuss sex with a child before they approach puberty.
That makes
sense. But I'm wrong. There's people right now, 331-9255 if you want to chat about it. But in states they're discussing that you can't discuss it kindergarten, 5 to 8 years old. And people think that's an abomination. I walked into a firestorm the other day, lunchtime, and there's 2 people debating politically. And the one guy who I know and, tends to be on my side says, "Oh, here he is. Let's loop you in." I said, "What do you, come on. Like, I just walk in, I'm going to try and grab lunch." So it's typical, ping pong back and forth. And the one guy keeps bringing up, he's a never Trumper. Fine. So I'm listening to these two, and they're just arguing. I mean, you could tell them that it's raining out and these two would argue. So I said to the guy, I said, can I ask you 4 questions? And this is 4 questions that I ask people all the time. Are we better off economically than we were 2 years ago? Are we better off socially than we are 2 years ago? Is education in a better place than it was 2 years ago? And is the culture in this country better than it was 2 years ago? The guy didn't answer.
They had nothing to say to that, did they?
He didn't answer the questions. And he tried to deflect, so I said, no, those are 4 direct questions, 4 direct answers. 3 times I asked him, he doesn't answer, he leaves. Right? But I'm the bad guy. And in that conversation, I said, if someone thinks it's appropriate to talk to a kid in kindergarten about sex, they shouldn't be in a classroom.
Absolutely.
And I certainly hope they're going to get counseling that they desperately need. Now, I know that, people will say, oh, who are you to say that? Well, tell me why they should. Why should any teacher? I want teachers, and again, not against teachers. I think I demonstrated my support for them the last 2 weeks. I want my kid at school to learn about history, math, science, reading, and writing. The rest is up to me.
Right.
Right?
That's a parent's job.
That's a parent job. And, you're watching, and now, the word groomer is coming out all over the place, and people are going crazy. Won't you call me that? Well, that's what you are. You're trying to groom kids for something to fit your thoughts. That's not what education is intended to be. It's intended to prepare kids.
For the future.
And, it's just, you watch where the stuff is going, and you go, what's the end game here?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. And I remember, I can remember my first health class wasn't until 8th or 9th grade, I don't think.
8th grade?
Yeah, 8th grade. I want to say it was Mr. Gregory in Bailey.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, I think that was my first health class.
I had Mr. McCoy.
I was in 8th grade. Yeah, it was on the bottom floor in Bailey, Mr. Gregory, I think it was. And that's when you actually see a chart of, when they'll actually roll out,
Oh, and by the way, that's when your body starts to change.
Right. But that's all right. 8th grade, you're like 13 or 14 years old.
Correct.
15, and your parents have probably already taught you about the birds and the bees at that point. Right?
And that's what health class was for, in case your parents didn't.
Right. But that's fine because you're 13 or 14.
3rd grade.
Right.
Think about that.
A third grade kid is probably like 7 or 8 years old.
No 8-year-old comprehends or has any understanding, unless you're the 0.001% gifted child that's, in academically in 9th grade at 8 years old. It's just, there's no logical explanation of why that would be discussed.
Right, he should be learning arithmetic skills and learning about other things and not about that. I agree.
There's a lot of kids that are still needing to learn how to read at 8 years old.
Right, and you're trying to teach them about this. So what? So now they have health. There's a health class for third grade.
I have no idea.
Oh God.
It's like it's everywhere you turn now, right? And it's almost as if that's the next, lightning rod to just bombard people with. And, the media.
Yeah, the world's a different place now.
How about, did you see, I just love watching this.
If we could keep our little community, not like the rest of the world, and try to work one step at a time, which people like you and people like me are trying to do, and try to not, cancel culture like the rest of the world is doing. Sometimes it feels like that, but, it's time, it seems like it's changed. That's what we need.
Yeah, like Elon Musk buying Twitter. Did you see that?
Yeah, I don't understand why they're getting on him about the tweets, though. I just
because they're deathly afraid of him, because he wants to defend free speech, and he became their largest shareholder. I
totally agree with him. I mean, if anybody should be mad about the capital gains tax and getting crushed by Uncle Joe and the rest of them, it should be him. I mean, him and Bezos got to be paying astronomical tax bills.
Elon Musk has paid more taxes than anybody in the history of the world.
That's what I'm saying.
But it's not enough.
But he's constantly fighting with the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, over tweets. They say every time he tweets, the market moves because he has so many followers.
Yeah.
You know. It's just like, that's why I stay off social media, dude.
It really,
the Kingston Community Radio page, and I'm on under my father's name, and I just, add the posts and whatever, just do that, but I don't type anything unless it's for.
You know what it is? It is funny.
I stay off.
And I agree. There's a lot of nonsense on social media.
Yeah, getting into heated battles with somebody on a keyboard is just, I got better things to do.
But to watch people's commentary, there's a lot of really funny people out there.
There are.
And the stuff that people come up with to respond to some of this stuff. And no, I agree with you. If you think the solution is pounding the keyboard on Facebook,
right? It's not.
Listen. You can win or lose debates all day long on Facebook. As I said, when teachers started reaching out to me to give me their input to the situation at the high school, that was absolutely invaluable. Because I had heard things, right? But you need validation of something like that. And, two teachers I had very lengthy conversations with, and not people that started teaching yesterday, and also people from mixed backgrounds offered a tremendous amount of insight. And the thing that was so refreshing in talking to the teachers is the conversation always came back to the kids. No matter how frustrated this one person is, and spoke to them for over a half hour, always came back to what the kids need. And that, in and of itself, summed up this entire thing.
Right. It wasn't about her, or it wasn't about him. It was about the children.
It was about the kids and what the kids need and what the kids want. The kids want to set goals. They want to have hurdles to clear. They don't want them knocked down, right? We knock things down, we make it easy. That's not how life is, right? We all define ourselves by what we overcome. I talk to my son about that all the time, right? If you're not going to aspire, then don't expect much.
Right.
Right? If you're not going to say, I'm going to do better in this, I joked with Dr. Padalino and Jim Shaughnessy. I had an 88 average in high school. I didn't do anything. There's no question I probably could have had a 95 and done better things at that age. I wasn't focused. That's on me. I'm still talking about it, so obviously I regret it. Right? But
you turned out fine, Dan, so I wouldn't let it bother you too much.
No, but it's a point that I use that example of, as I said on that interview, I was a distraction in high school. There's no question about it.
Yeah,
but that's part of high school.
Yeah, I didn't particularly care for school either, but that's growing up as a kid, Plus, going to Kingston High School with these open classes, being able to walk out to go to Burger King at third period, that didn't help.
No, you can't do that anymore.
No, now you got to be a senior and you got to be on the honor roll or something.
Correct.
Right? Or something correct. There's no more. It's not open campus for. It used to be open campus for 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, right?
Yeah. I used to catch a ride with Ramon Fontanes to go to the Foxhole Deli.
Yeah, sometimes I would go with Howie Birch and Jed, and we would go to McDonald's.
Yep.
Because a couple of my friends had cars, when I was in 10th grade. So, then by the time you got to 11th grade, everybody had a car. And, most people's parents worked. So you were driving yourself to and from school. You basically were... You had a lot of by the time you were out of 10th grade and going into 11th, you had a lot of responsibilities as a kid to get up, take a shower, do your homework the night before, drive yourself to school, feed yourself, come home. My mother and father were at work, so you had a lot of responsibilities, and that's how you start, learning certain things. But you could be like me a couple of times and not let those responsibilities drift off and not go to school. And I don't know. I always joke with my mother. I was like, maybe the open campus thing just wasn't a good idea.
No, it probably wasn't.
Now, do they still let people sit on the wall, or did they get rid of that too? Because the wall used to be a big thing when I was in high school. You probably remember that. I mean, there used to be a lot of people sitting on the wall.
A lot.
Yeah,
I don't think
the wall was like You know, it was huge.
I don't think.
I don't think there's They used to call them Wallies.
Yeah.
I don't think they're there anymore.
No, I think part of the whole closing the campus down limits that. But
Right.
so if you're just getting out of bed, congratulations, New York State, record-breaking $220 billion state budget. Sure to blow the taxes through the
Yeah,
roof.
because we're already 61. The state's already 61 billion in debt.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go and pass a budget at the highest ever.
Yeah,
What did you
and
think about that Buffalo Stadium? What did you think about that whole debacle?
so that's in here. Originally, it was going to be $850 million that the state was going to kick in. Now it's saying it's going to be $600 million.
Yeah, but it said in the long run it could end up costing taxpayers $1.2 billion.
$1.4 billion.
Okay, see, I read that one wrong too.
Well, listen, the Bills are it in Buffalo, and it is a ton of money. I don't know. I mean, if New York State loses the Bills, which I believe wholeheartedly that owner would have done.
That would have been, I don't know. The people in Buffalo or Orchard Park wouldn't have been too happy about that. I have friends and family that live in Rochester, and they are diehard Bills fans.
Yeah.
So
And some of the best fans in the NFL.
yeah, I rooted
they
for
got
the
a
Bills this year with the Giants. And the Giants aren't in it. I mean, I have a hard time rooting for the Jets because they're going to let you down. But I rooted for the Bills this year.
They got a great young team,
Yeah,
great
they do.
young coach.
I had Stephon Diggs on my fantasy team. Speaking of sports, real quick, I haven't had a chance to talk to you. How'd you do in your bracket this year? Did you have Gonzaga going all the way? Because
You know what? I actually didn't get a bracket in time.
oh, really?
But if I did, it wouldn't have mattered.
Oh, okay. Because in my bracket, I actually had St. Pete. Every year in my bracket, north, south, east, and west, I'll pick two. It has never really worked ever. I always pick a number 15 to beat a number 2. This year, it was St. Pete to beat Kentucky or whatever.
Really?
Yeah, but then I didn't have them going, as far as they were going, where'd they go, to the Elite Eight or?
They went to the Elite Eight, yeah.
I had Sister Jean in Loyola, Chicago going to the Final Four. They were out in the first round, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they didn't even win the first round, yeah. And I had Gonzaga going all the way.
Gonzaga is never going all the way.
Well, they didn't go all the way last year either. I had Gonzaga beating Kansas in the final. I thought the final game, though, Kansas and North Carolina, I thought that was a good game. Because North Carolina was winning, and then Kansas, I tell you, they played a good second half. And I think we talked about this a while back. I like college basketball. They still drive to the hoop. They still dunk. It's not I went to see a Knicks Heat game back in the end of January in Miami, by the way. Knicks lost. But for 11 and a half minutes from the end of the third quarter from a stretch from the end of the third quarter into the fourth quarter, neither team, I think this went on for like almost 11 minutes, neither team went into the paint. It was all three-pointers.
Yeah,
it was just like, and I sat there and we counted it on the phone. I'm like, this is going on for 11 minutes now.
I'll tell you, this tournament was what the tournament needed, right?
Yeah,
I mean, the
good.
upsets, everything.
It was great.
Little known fun fact, actually, the Garrigan family, is well known in Kingston. Their cousin Dan Gavitt is in charge of the men's NCAA tournament.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and a super guy that I usually see him out at Cape Cod every summer, and just really happy for him that after everything they've gone through the last 2 years to have the tournament they did, because it was just one upset after another and tight games and a lot of good, as you said, a lot of really, really good basketball. So just reading here with the New York State budget, the crime portion, partial rollback of the state's controversial 2019 bail reform law. Judges will be able to set bail for defendants charged with repeat offenses, hate crimes, and gun-related charges. Judges will also be able to consider whether someone's criminal record makes them likely to do harm if released.
Well, that's a start.
Well, there's some real logical thinking.
Well, at least it's a start. Remember when we sat here for your first show on New Year's Eve, and me and you, and Fran wasn't here that day because it was just me and you on. We both made New Year's predictions. My prediction was that Eric Adams was going to come in as mayor of New York City and get the bail reform overturned and clean up. You know, you start with New York City, and then it'll trickle down to the rest of the state. Boy, was I wrong about that.
Crime's up. Hold on, I'll get it in a second.
Crime is up in New York.
Crime's up like 35%. You know, the business community is literally pounding the drum to bring a stop to this. And here it is right here. Crime in New York City year to date. Murder plus 33.3%. Rape 34.3%. Robbery 60.4%, burglary 44.6%, grand larceny 74%. On average, crime is up 55%.
That's ridiculous.
In the city of New York. So, to all the voters out there who, you know, tend to just vote, as we were talking earlier, across the party line.
Right.
There you have it. 55% increase in crime in New York City.
And this is what you get for defunding of police and all this.
Well, that evaporated.
Yeah,
right.
Well, in our neck of the woods, maybe, but it's. Well, let's not jump into that. We got about a minute and a half before our first guest comes on, and but yeah, no, there's some changes that need to be made. But November is rapidly approaching. What I can't even believe that this year we're already in April already. It seems like you just started. I mean, you only started on New Year's Eve, and it's just like it seems like we're it's crazy how fast the time's gone by. So November is right around the corner. I think you're going to see some changes this year. I think people have had it. I know as a taxpayer, and I'm sure you could say the same things too. It costs a lot of money to live in this state. You want to feel free and be, like you said, you want to be able to get on the bus or take your kid down, to Rockefeller Center or FAO Schwartz or whatever. You want to be able to go to the city and show them the things that your father used to show you, or, you know what I mean? Like, can't do that. So,
well, at the end of the day, you want to argue with law and order? Who doesn't want law and order? For God's sakes, people I just think need to do a deep dive on themselves and figure out what, there's a lot of people that are real angry out there.
You're not kidding. And we had all the top cops on here Wednesday. Juan was here. Kyle Berardi was here. Jid. Joe Sinagra wasn't here because he was out in Syracuse doing something. But all the top cops from Kingston, the sheriff was here, town of Ulster, city of Kingston, Saugerties, all of them. They come here once a month, and they all say the same thing. They want to do their job.
Of course they do.
When they don't have their back, the judges and the DAs, if they're going to arrest somebody and then they're going to let them right out with a ticket, I mean, what's the point? I mean, they still do their job, but they say it's hard getting on and putting the stripes on every day and going in there and knowing that the system doesn't have our back. All right, so on that note, why don't we go take a break real quick? We'll be back with our next guest, Sue Marcy from United Way, and we'll be back in a minute, folks.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
We are Lions. We bring hope where it's needed, support causes that matter, change lives, change communities, change the world. Visit lionsclubs.org to learn more.
At Central Hudson, safety is our highest priority. That's why we ask you to keep a clear path to electric and gas meters and eliminate all obstructions, including snow, ice, vegetation overgrowth, storage boxes, garbage, or any other kind of debris. Access to meters is important for safety inspections too, and failing to provide access can result in fines. For more information, visit the safety section of centralhudson.com.
Have you ever experienced a wish come true? For a child battling a critical illness, a wish come true can be a turning point. One song, one dance, one game, one adventure, one moment changes everything. Make-A-Wish needs your support to grant the wish of every eligible child. Visit wish.org now to help grant more life-changing wishes. Together, we can transform lives, one wish at a time.
On top of first-class care, you will never receive a bill. The only thing we had to worry about was just keeping Azalea comfortable. St. Jude saved her life.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
To battle is to fight, to struggle, to overcome, and ultimately for the Marine Corps, it means to win. There is no alternative. It's not just a statement of intent. It's a promise to our nation. A promise kept for more than 2 centuries. A promise of the Marines.
Hi, this is Jared Mans from the Spring Lake Fire Department, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
A powerful community bank is one that has leaders that are involved in their community. At Rondout Savings Bank, they invest in the success of our community by working side by side with local people and local businesses. When you choose to bank Rondout, you are part of a bank that is dedicated to the future of your success and the success of your community. Rondout Savings welcomes you to open an account today and discover what it means to be part of a powerful community bank, one that knows you by name. Rondout Savings Bank, always working for you and our community, with branches in Kingston, West Hurley, and Hyde Park, also online at rondoutbank.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Send you anything ahead of time.
Morning. Dan Gruner here, 7:30. If you're just joining us, Kingston City schools are closed this morning. We're on a 2-hour delay and ended up closing, so apparently there's a fair amount of flooding out there. So if you haven't been out yet, proceed with caution. And we're just talking, I meant to bring it up at 7 o'clock, Major League Baseball back in action this weekend. Although a delayed start, supposed to start yesterday, and looks like...
And I forgot to bring up that Tiger shot a 1-under yesterday.
Yeah, we'll talk about that at 8:30.
After a broken leg.
Yeah, he actually, I was following it online at work, and apparently he played very well. The guy that was blogging about it was saying that he is walking with a noticeable limp, which understandable. You wonder how that carries over 4 days, but the crowd, I saw a picture when he was teeing off on the first tee. You would have thought it was Sunday at the Masters.
Right. It looked like it was the 18th green.
Absolutely, wow. Which just goes to show you the power of Tiger. So good for him to be back. But we're joined by Sue Marcy, Vice President of United Way of Ulster County. Sue, good morning.
Good morning, Dan. It's nice to be here.
And we were just saying how it's nice to be out. And
absolutely.
You were just sharing with me that you just had one of your flagship events last weekend, was it?
Yeah, last Friday we had Dancing with the Stars Ulster Style up at Diamond Mills. We had a great crowd. Our dancers did fabulous, and it was a very successful fundraiser thanks to everyone who attended and all of our sponsors.
That's terrific. Who were some of the dancers this year?
Okay, some of the dancers were Lara Hope and Matt Goldpaw from Lara Hope and the Arctones and the Gold Hope Duo. They were great. We had Erica Brown and Bobby Burke. We had, now it's after the event, so it's out of my mind.
That's right.
Forgive me, dancers, you were all fabulous. Travis Rask and Nicole Lacey, who were celebrating their engagement on the dance floor. They got engaged about a week prior to the event, so that was a lot of fun. Let's see. We had Elvin Cuevas and Anya Faring, and there's one other couple. Who am I forgetting? Oh, of course, my board member Crystal Schachter and her sister Rosie Rion Porco. So
very cool.
And then Stacy and Drew came out after intermission and did a swan song salsa, a tribute to Stacy and her upcoming retirement. So it was a great event.
You mentioned that. So she's going to retire in June?
Yep. After 28 years, Stacy will be retiring as president of CEO, and I'll be stepping up on July 1st.
Well, congratulations, and
I'm looking forward to carrying on her legacy and continuing the strong organization that she built.
Quite a legacy it is. I've
Indeed.
had the good fortune of knowing her for a long time, and she's really given so much to this community. And I always admire people that give first and kind of let the rest come in behind. And but we'll be in good hands. You've been with United Way how long now?
18 years.
18 years. So the longevity is the key, and that's what makes it hopefully seamless.
Let's hope so.
Transition. So
looking forward to carrying that on. I mean, it's big shoes to fill, but excited to.
18 years of training, so.
That's right. I've been well trained, so I'm looking forward to that. And with that said, we will be. This year is our off year of our funding cycle, so that means we do site visits this year. So we're always looking for volunteers, people who want to know where the money goes, how it's spent. We do a training in the spring, and then we send you out with a questionnaire to go visit each and every program that we fund, gets a site visit by a trained volunteer. And it's not that we're the United Way police, it's that we're going out to make sure that there's nothing we can do to help them do their job better, or if they've done something new and unique, we want to know about it, or if there's something they've had to change along the way. So it's basically we're a community partner, and that's how we've always thought of ourselves, and we're just wanting to make sure the programs are the very best programs out there, and they're doing everything they can do to help the folks in our community.
And tell people about the different programs.
Sure. There's, if you want to go and get more information, you can go to our website at ulsterunitedway.org. We fund currently 34 different programs all throughout Ulster County, and every single one of them addresses possible barriers that keep folks from being self-sufficient. Sorry, it's early in the morning for me. Things that substance abuse prevention, literacy, mental health, parenting skills, life skills, vocational skills, things like that. From everybody, we serve folks from 8 to 80 at least. There's folks that visit seniors in the homes to make sure there's case management going on, that they don't need some sort of services that aren't being provided. There's job training at the YWCA for folks, for teens. There's parenting classes for folks who may have not had great experiences as a child, and they're go through a 12-week program, and by the end of that program they've learned that there's some different things they can do. Maybe the behaviors that they learned weren't so great, and now that they have learned that, they go on and they become a better parent. And a lot of them are doing, there's a whole second session for that program, so they're looking forward. They bond with the people in the group. There's no more than 12 in a group. They have 2 facilitators that go through all of the exercises with the participants. They start off with a family meal. They did that during COVID. They did it remotely via Zoom, but they had food delivered, so they all ate together remotely. So sometimes for those folks, it was the only time they'd ever sat around a table and had a meal. So it's really powerful. And a lot of the programs are small like that, but they fill a niche, and they serve folks, and they meet folks where they're at, and it really is life-changing for many of the clients that go through them.
Well, you just struck a personal chord with me. Sitting around the table. Mm-hmm. That was one of the cornerstones of my growing up.
Sure.
Dinner was at 6:00 every night, and if you wanted to eat, you better be there.
Right? Exactly.
But my mom always used it as really a foundation for our family to sit and talk and bond.
Right.
And it wasn't always fun. The conversations weren't always chipper and cheery, but as an adult now, I try to do the same now. Mm-hmm. In my own house, because I, as an adult now, see the value in it, and I love how you said it's a small group.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Right, because you need to have the conversation, you need to have the dialogue.
Right, and you need to have the trust that the people that are in that group are going to have your back. No, there's no judgment there. There's folks. Everybody's in the same boat. Trying to move forward. I was a big sister in the Big Brothers Big Sisters program for years, and I always said, well, they may not have had a table, but they always had meals together. They may be sitting on the living room floor around the coffee table, but they always had meals together. So, there's things that families can do to help things out and make things stronger. And I'm so proud of the many programs that we fund that that provide those services and help teach those skills that maybe aren't learned, or for folks who their home life maybe wasn't safe or good to go back to, and they're ready to make a change. Well, you can't go back to where you were. You've gone through this other program, and that's fabulous, but now what do I do? So there's programs like our Women's Mentoring Program, Raising Hope. It's a one-on-one mentoring program. It lasts for 12 months, and we do trainings. In fact, we're having our mentee training this weekend. We have 15 new mentees coming into the program. We did mentor training a week ago, and then the following weekend we will do what we call orientation, where each of them are paired up and they meet and go through training together to learn what to do. Sometimes for these women in the program, they'll often say, almost every single one will say, it's the first time someone was there for me. It's the first time someone listened to me. It was the first time someone cheered me on. And for those of us who grew up with a family, it's kind of hard to imagine that, but I can't imagine not having my mom in my corner. I'm sure you can't either.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether you made mistakes or whatever, you knew your parents were always there, always going to have your back. You know, for many of these folks, they come from very difficult situations, and they're trying to make a better life for themselves and their children. And it's just amazing, just having one person in your corner, what a difference it makes.
100%. And I have a lot of questions about that, because one of the things, seeing, over the last 2 years and all the challenges that people have faced personally, we've faced as a community, these services are more critical than ever.
Indeed.
And, a few weeks ago I had the superintendent and the board president of the school district on, and we talked about a lot of things, but one of the things that I brought up, because teachers kept bringing it up to me, is Kingston High School. And, just, it is what it is. There are kids that are really, really angry after the last 2 years. And I wish to God I knew what the key to the kingdom to unlock that is. I don't. But these programs are a start.
Yeah,
And so I guess my first question is, if a parent out there is listening and is looking for help, do they contact the United Way? Do they contact the program specifically? Or
They can do either. There's links to each of the agencies on our website. You can also call the information referral line, United Way's 211. It serves the 7-county area, even if you're someone in an adjacent county. If you call, you have a question about a human service, or you think your child might need a program, or your family might need a program, or family member, call 211 and talk to them, and they can hook you up with the programs.
do you do any outreach into schools?
We don't have the staff to do that right now. We do, we are available as an information referral service for anyone who calls. Our number is 331-4199 right here in Kingston. And we're always available to answer questions or direct you to, if we don't know the program specifically, we probably know someone who does, so we can share it with. We work with 19 different agencies right now and know many others that we work with in many different community partnerships. So, and a lot of it, anger is based in fear, right? And who I don't think there was any one of us who didn't have some sort of fear in the last 2 years. There certainly was. Everything was topsy-turvy and unsettling, and so many of the programs that serve the kids, we actually directed more funding to them this past funding cycle, because they were saying the kids are falling behind. There's a lot of stuff going on with them. We have to start over. We haven't seen them. So places like the Boys and Girls Club, places like the Center for Creative Education, places like the Ymca and the YWCA, those are all programs that are serving kids in our area. I'm sure there's many more as well that we don't currently fund, but they're out there, and they're ready, and they're waiting, and they have qualified staff to help kids through this very difficult time.
Yeah, I know. I served on the board of the Boys and Girls Club for years. And I still pay attention, and they're really doing
They do amazing work.
Amazing. And Dan Whalen, I know you and I have only met briefly, but I'm watching what you're doing, and I love what you're doing.
Yeah, he does. He's fabulous.
And that's just one of the other organizations too. If you're just tuning in with Sue Marcy, Vice President of the United Way of Ulster County, soon to be President of United Way of Ulster County in June. Talk about, as you know, I've run a fundraiser forever. And, one of the questions you get by an astute donor, is someone that typically gives a lot and gives to different organizations. What is, people want to know where the money goes. Obviously, you've just talked about that. But, if somebody said to you, why United Way?
Well, United Way, if you don't know, you want your money to do some good, and you don't have a specific charity that you're near and dear to your heart, we vet every single program that we fund. We have about 50 volunteers that serve on 6 different committees. So every time we have a funding cycle, they review each and every proposal. And where we're different here at the United Way than other funders is that we give the agencies, the program directors, a chance to come in and talk to us. If we have questions about the program, or if perhaps it's a new program coming in for funding, we bring them in to talk to the committee face-to-face or Zoom-to-Zoom, such as the case may be, and give them an opportunity to talk about their program. Maybe somebody is not so great at writing a grant proposal, but they have all their ducks in a row. They just don't write well. Grant writing is a skill, after all. But they're passionate about their program, and they come in and they tell us, what's happening with the kids, and what a difference this program has made, how long the waiting list is, because folks are waiting to get into this program. And it just brings the program to life, and it's very exciting to be part of that. It's a very thorough process. It takes about 6 weeks or so for us to vet all those programs in the various committees. And then after the funding starts, we fund on a 2-year cycle, so they'll get the same amount of funding for 2 years. On the off year, as I said earlier, we send volunteers out to evaluate every single one of those programs. We have a training, we have a questionnaire they go through. We want to see the attendance records, we want to see the pre-test, the post-test, we want to see what folks are learning, what barriers there are, how can we address those barriers, how can we make sure everybody that needs services has access to them and gets them.
Do you provide any type of guidance for, say, a nonprofit, like you said, is not good at grant writing, or are there resources
as a
or
matter of fact,
areas to help them improve?
Sure. And we try to make the proposal itself as straightforward as possible. Stacy's been a grant writer for many years, and she's often done trainings for new folks coming in on how to write grants and whatnot, and I've done a little bit of that as well, and we'll continue to do that. We're always available for advice and guidance. It's really important, and basically the easiest thing to tell you about writing grant proposals, just answer the questions.
Yeah.
If they ask the question 3 different ways, then answer it 3 different ways, but just answer the questions. Don't get too carried away, but make sure everybody has what they need. And if you have any questions, just feel free to give us a call or reach out.
And you mentioned earlier, how many organizations do you currently fund?
We fund programs, so we fund 34 different programs at 19 different agencies right now, and we're also part of 9 different community partnerships right now.
And so every other year that gets reviewed.
Every other year we do the call for grant proposals. So this spring we'll be doing site visits and going out, and then next January we'll call for proposals again. So the funding cycle will start again. Our fiscal year runs July through June, so that's that.
And so if a nonprofit organization is interested in exploring potential support from the United Way, they want to start contacting you,
they can contact me now. That's fine. There's information on our website as well, ulsterunitedway.org. There's, I believe, a tab for nonprofit organizations. You can look there and see. I believe we have the old proposal on there. And the only requirements is that you have a physical presence here in Ulster County, you're a 501c3, and you've been in existence for 2 years. And then you also address one of the 6 target areas that we list on our page.
And remind people what those 6 target areas are.
Oh, I knew you were going to say that. Let's see if I get them all. Child care, affordable child care, affordable housing, substance abuse prevention, literacy, parenting, vocational skills, and I'm forgetting, family mental health. Good. There, I got them all.
You passed the test. No,
I'm kidding. I always miss one, so I'm like, I'm always happy
I think it's important for people to understand that a lot of these services are in desperate need right now. So that's why I keep asking you to
Well, I appreciate
remind.
that.
And if you're just tuning in, Sue Marcy from the United Way of Ulster County, talking about all the different programs, specifically parental support, mental health, substance abuse. That's another component that just, is a major problem, is the substance abuse. And, I know law enforcement is doing their part, but it just breaks my heart to see what a problem it is in this community. And, I know the Kelder family, through Ryan's Fund, has done tremendous work. But the reality is they're only one group, one family. So I had no idea that was something that the United Way funds.
Yeah, many of the programs, I mean, it's built in, many of the programs, as you know, from the Boys and Girls Club. The earlier you can talk to kids, the earlier you can get them engaged in other activities, the better they are. And so many of them, they didn't have the structure for 2 years. It was difficult for them to sign in online, or there's multiple kids in the family, and there's only maybe one device. How do they get engaged? There were families who the kids didn't want to have the screen on because they either didn't want you to see what was behind them or to hear what was going on behind them. So it's a critical need, and one of our agency directors said, we knew the kids, were struggling. We didn't realize how bad their home life was until this happened.
And that breaks my heart, because, I coach a lot of youth sports, and I watch different kids, and a kid just, they want structure. Mm-hmm. They want to be held accountable, and they want to be loved.
Yeah, don't we all?
It's not any more complicated than that.
No.
At the end of the day, and why someone can't give that to their child. I mean, I know there's many reasons that are affecting that, but when you keep it simple to, give them structure, give them accountability, and I watch some families that, single parent. And, typically it's mom.
Yeah.
But there's a couple moms I know out there, kudos, and you know who I'm talking about. They drive a straight ship, and you know what?
It's hard.
It is hard, but they don't quit.
Oh,
and their commitment to their kids is, I adore these people.
Yeah, well, I think most mothers don't give up on their kids, and they may just not have the skills, or they're just overwhelmed. I know,
But that's where you come in. If you're listening, and there is help out there.
Mm-hmm. They can call 211. They can visit our website. We have our mentoring program, and there's all those agencies that are ready, willing, and able to help. They have staff. They have programs. They have funding. They're ready. They want to help as best they can.
And, I tell people all the time, there's no shame in asking for help. It's actually one of the most courageous things I think a person can do. And, I've had to, have challenges in my life. I lost my mom when I was 28 years old. I couldn't get my head around that.
Yeah, I just lost my mom last year. I still can't get my head around it.
I'm sorry. And, people always, kind of, Dan's a confident person and blah, blah. Well, you know what? I was 28 years old. I couldn't figure it out. Yeah. And it was affecting every step of my life.
Yeah.
I went and got help.
Yeah.
And after 6 sessions, I said, okay, I'm not the only person that's gone through this. I'm not losing my mind. I'm not, it brought a lot of things to light, but it took me 2 months to say, go get help.
Mm-hmm. I think that a lot of folks are in that situation. You're so bogged down with your own challenges that you forget that there are many other people who've been there, done that, and are there to help you, are there to mentor you, are there to point you in the right direction, are there to cheer you on. And there's certainly professionals out there who can help. And I think, it's wonderful, all of our agencies that we work with. I can't do direct service myself, so my hat's off to them. I would bring everybody home and feed them dinner because that's just what I would do. That's what my mother taught me to do. So I really appreciate the work that they do, and it's always an honor to represent them and to refer to all of their programs because they just do amazing work, and I'm so proud of what they do. And again, our website's ulsterunitedway.org. We have videos of the various programs that are on that, our program highlights, spotlights, and there's also links to every agency that we work with. So, and again, our referral line is 211. You can call that 24/7 and get response, a live person.
Well, we're coming up top of the hour. Actually, it's gone quick, which is a good thing.
I always have lots to talk about, Dan.
I know, and that's why we like having you on. It's not always fun when somebody sits there and doesn't have much to say. What's next for the United Way?
What's next for the United Way? We're going to be we're recruiting volunteers to do the site visits. We are doing our celebration of hope in June, where we honor women mentors in the community. We're still looking for nominations. If you know someone who has mentored another woman, has been a role model, has influenced a lot of women here in Ulster County, please check out our website, pull up an application form, and send your nomination in because we like to make sure we recognize our local heroines as they are. And we have a golf outing coming up the end of June 27th. It's the last Monday in June at the Twofskill Club, and we'll be getting the registration forms up and ready for that. We're still recovering from Dancing with the Stars. We get our thank yous out to all our sponsors this week for that, and looking forward to being out there and helping everyone any way we can.
Well, it's great to see, as we were talking before we came on the air, to see events coming back.
It is. It's a lot of fun.
I was telling you, I was at an event over in Dutch County last week, and it was. I saw a guy I hadn't seen in 2 years, and we didn't realize we hadn't seen each other in 2 years.
There was a lot of reunions going on Friday night, I have to tell you. And they were like, this is great.
Yeah,
I haven't seen anybody.
But it's really nice to see things coming back, and actually, you had said you had a great turnout for your event, and, the Benedictine Health Foundation, we have our Sample, Sip, and Savor coming back.
Coming up, that's great.
At the end of the month, and actually ran into Scott Dutton, who hosts it for us at Adams last night, and he's excited. He's a unbelievably gracious host.
He's a terrific host, yeah.
I think him and his wife should be Dancing with the Stars if they haven't already.
Oh, yeah. Get him to do that. Yeah, I think we've asked just about everyone in the county, but if anyone is interested, we'll be doing it again next year. So give me a call, 331-4199 extension.
Yeah, that's hard. How many couples dance?
Well, this year we had 5, and then Stacy and Drew made 6. So we had over 200 people in the room. So that was really fun.
Well, I'm just thinking, it's hard enough to You got to find an honoree. Now you got to find 5-6 couples to participate. So
right, all our dance instructors said they'd come back and do it again. So we have the best dance instructors. They really love working with their students, and it's all about having fun. Everybody wins. Everybody gets a trophy. Everybody gets cheers from the crowd. So just talk to any of our dancers if you haven't already. They had a really wonderful time. So it's a worthwhile cause. All the money we raise stays in Ulster County. I can never say that enough. Folks always ask me that. Sue, how much of the money stays here? All of it stays here. So we do pay dues to the national organization to use the brand. That comes out of corporate sponsorships or corporate gifts, but all of the individual donations stay right in Ulster County. So we have a very small staff. We'll be 5 of us. So, there's not a lot of overhead, but we do pay our staff a fair wage because they do great work, and we really appreciate them and want to keep them as long as we can. Obviously, I've been there a long time, and hope to continue the legacy that Stacy has left us. So.
Well, Sue, thank you. That's a fantastic point to close out with, that the money stays here, and that's what, at the end of the day, is most important. Mm-hmm. And clearly you're transparent about that, which is, to me, the most important aspect of fundraising. I always said from day one, people are going to know where our money goes, how it works, and what it does, because let's leave no doubt. And yes, you do have to pay people you're funding multiple agencies and multiple programs. That takes work, and we need somebody to do that, because if you didn't pay people to do that, then that program doesn't happen.
Right.
So Well, thank you for coming in.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
We'd love to have you back.
I'll be back.
And we're going to take a break. Sue Marcy, soon to be president of United Way of Ulster County. We're going to take a break. We'll be back with Bob Baum.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
Hi, I'm Kelsey Grammer. Wounded Warrior Project supports injured veterans by connecting them with fellow warriors, by serving them through mental health and wellness programs, and by empowering them to live on their own terms. No one should face a battle alone. Join us at woundedwarriorproject.org.
We all come together and stand together to serve our veterans. We invest in the latest technology.
We take the time to train the next generation of doctors and nurses. We work together to make sure we heal their bodies and their minds.
This is our mission. More than 300,000 of us working as one, together with families and loved ones. No matter where they live in this country, we'll be there.
We stand strong, united. Stand with us in caring for our veterans.
Hi, I'm Steve Thomas for Habitat for Humanity Restore. Habitat Restores are nonprofit home improvement stores and donation centers that sell new and gently used furniture, building materials, and appliances to the public at a fraction of the retail cost. The Ulster County Restore at 406 Route 28 in Kingston needs your donations. Call our hotline at 845-853-7499 to schedule your free pickup. And thanks.
Pick up the phone before you pick up the shovel and call 811. It's for your safety and it's the law. Central Hudson reminds all homeowners and contractors, call Dig Safely New York at 811 before digging or excavating. Call this number at least 2 business days before breaking ground. It's a free service that marks the location of underground gas, electric, and other utility lines. Before you dig, call 811.
Everyone is talking about healthcare these days. America spends twice that of other developed countries on our healthcare system, yet our health ranks near the bottom. How can we stop spending so much and getting so little? By shifting to a system that gives more patients access to strong primary care. Primary care can help make America healthy again. To learn more about the benefits of primary care, visit www.healthisprimary.org. This message is brought to you by America's Family Physicians.
Hi, I'm Ruth Quick from town of Ulster. I support Kingston Community Radio, and you should too.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Visit their newest branch, conveniently located at the Ulster Commons Plaza in Lake Katrine. Experience the difference that local community banking offers with the convenience of another great location, easy access, plenty of parking, and a 24-hour ATM. Ulster Savings Bank, invested in community, invested in you. Member FDIC.
Okay. Good morning. Good morning, Bob Baum.
Good morning. Dan Gruner back. As always, I forgot the announcements, so we'll plow through.
Don't worry about the announcements. We said them all week, but we do have a couple birthdays, and it is Friday, so.
Yeah, we do. Let's see. Doesn't say which day, so we'll just say.
We'll look on the date for the actual winner, and I don't think there's a Friday. I think it's just Saturday and Sunday.
Could be. Well,
there's usually 3.
Oh, I got it. Okay. So, April 9th. Happy birthday to Adele Corvin with love, Michael Matthew, April Jordan, and Tyler. All right. And happy birthday to Theodore Teddy McDonald from Franklin, Jerome, Lou, Sandy, Billy, Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike, the Big 5-0. That's like a line from Good Will Hunting where he's got to recite all his siblings.
Yep.
Yeah, right? Remember that with Matt Damon?
I do. That's an older movie.
She says, "You have 11 brothers and sisters."
That's where he's the genius, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's trying to pick up the young lady who.
Yeah. I know Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike are also from New Edition, right?
Could be. Yeah.
Could be. Okay.
Well, anyway, Teddy.
Is Teddy the winner?
Teddy Bobby, Ricky, and everybody else, stop by Boyce's Dairy. You won the cow pie.
They're going to need probably 8 people to eat that thing.
Right. So, and then Sunday, April 10th, happy birthday to Kristen Holland, Matt, Evan, Robin, and Paula. And Kristen, happy birthday to you, too. You can stop by Boyce's Dairy and pick up your cow pie.
So Teddy and Kristen are the winners.
Yes.
All right.
Teddy and Christian.
Happy birthday, Teddy.
Happy birthday to you both. And I know, Lawrence, you said you've been reading the announcements all week, but this one I always like to see when these folks are out and about. So Kingston Clean Sweepers and potential clean sweepers. Think spring. It's been a long, cold winter. Now it's time to get ready to clean our beautiful city. Friends of Historic Kingston, the City of Kingston, will be having our annual Clean Sweep event. So it's time to get your brooms and rakes ready and save the date on your calendar. The 13th annual Clean Sweep will be held on Saturday, May 7th, 9 a.m. to noon. We hope many can join us. Mayor Steve Noble has pledged to support the City of Kingston to collect the filled bags immediately following the event. So if you can get out and help, it's a great community day that's been going on for quite some time. So Clean Sweep, May 7th in the City of Kingston, a little bit after 8 o'clock, and we're joined by Bob Baum. Bob, how are you?
I'm well, Dan. How are you?
Good. You made me nervous to get a tie on today. I said, geez, you must have something big going on.
Every once in a while, you got to wear one.
And it's Masters Green, so...
That's exactly where it comes from.
Well,
a little bit of Irish in there, too.
Good. Lawrence and I were talking earlier. It was pretty amazing to see the crowd that Tiger Woods drew yesterday. Did you have a chance to watch it?
I watched some of it, yes, and it was really quite nice. I like to see it.
Yeah, and he's 1 under par through. I didn't know that him playing, could he compete? But obviously, then one of my friends said, "Well, it's Tiger Woods. He's not going to play if he can't compete."
Right.
And he had golfed on Monday with, I forget, one of the professional golfers, and they said he looked exceptional. So the thing I noticed last night, I was watching the highlights, so he's walking with a pretty significant limp, and you wonder how that's going to hold up over 4 days.
Yeah, exactly. Now, they said he was doing pretty well yesterday.
Yeah, so but I didn't realize this because, you're watching on TV, but Augusta apparently is really hilly.
Yes.
And have you ever been down there?
No, I haven't. I should go, but I haven't been.
Yeah, I obviously, like anything else now, it's incredibly expensive. But I remember my dad got to go. I think I was in high school or college, and I remember he was like a little kid.
Yeah.
With the excitement going down, and now that I'm thinking back to the hills, they followed a golfer, so he's walked most of the course, and he was saying, at the time he was, it's exhausting. I'm like,
well, it's interesting because I took advantage of a wet day 2 days ago at 12 skill, and I walked 3 holes, and it confirmed the reason why I take a cart.
Yeah, talk about a hilly course.
Yeah.
So they're open?
Yes, they're open. They were closed yesterday because of the rain, of course, but yes, we're open.
Yeah, and closed today, I'm sure, too.
The leagues start on this coming week.
Good.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So.
And I forgot to announce this half hour, but if you're just joining us, speaking of the weather, Kingston City schools are closed now. I guess there's a lot of flooding out in certain parts of the county, so the kids get an early start to spring break, and they'll be off next week, and it's hard to believe Easter's next week. So the leagues start this coming Monday, you said?
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm assuming they're all packed as they always are.
Monday, Tuesday are packed. Wednesday is a couple shy. And the Thursday Mixed League is doing well this year, so I think we're going to have a nice year.
Golf courses have been one of the beneficiaries of COVID.
Yes.
With a lot of, people dusting off the clubs and getting out. So it's wonderful to see because, 12 Skill's a Kingston institution. Been around for however many years now. And the same, Wiltwick has seen a resurgence. But,
Yeah. Well, we all did. 12 skill, of course, the legal date of inception was 1902.
Yeah, right.
We found papers when I was on the board, which is now 20 years ago. We found papers that dated back to 1896.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yep. It's when my son was younger, we were members, for the pool and all that. And,
Sure.
And I, once in a while I'd go out, and I'm not really an avid golfer, but I would go out and play, and I forgot how incredibly hilly it is. And there's that one hole, is at number 6 at the tee box is up in the woods.
Way up top of the hill, right?
Yeah, and for a guy that hits the ball right, that's not a good hole. I mean, it is a challenging. Oh my God.
Well, listen, if you hit a ball a little to the right, then on the next swing you overcorrect and you hook it to the left. So it evens out.
Yeah, well, I remember.
Not when I hit it, they don't.
Yeah. Do you golf, Lawrence, or no?
I lived in Florida for 8 years. I used to golf almost every day, but no, I don't golf as I used to. Me and Javier Tejada used to play all the time, and now my golfing friends don't live around here anymore, and I just don't have a partner to really golf with. And I didn't get a new set of clubs. I still got the clubs from the '90s, and
I actually bought new clubs. I played a decent amount last summer.
Did you? I played twice last year.
Well, my son and his buddies are all junior members at Wiltwick.
Oh, nice.
They play every day, and so it was, it was good. They have 4 or 5 of them. Every day it wasn't raining, they play in the summertime. And his buddies play on a travel baseball team. So on Fridays, they usually couldn't play if they had a tournament. And so, he'd call me at work and say, Dad, could you break off a little early and we'll go play? And so I didn't realize this until we played the one week. But the fees at Wiltwick after I think it's 3 o'clock are very reasonable.
Mm-hmm. I've heard that.
And so I'd meet him up there at 3 o'clock, and we'd go and play, and it was just great one-on-one time. But you realize after you play a couple times, the sport's not as awful as you think. Yeah. And if you don't try and hit it to the moon every time, you're probably better off, and stop moving your head and things like that. But
yeah, trying to see where the ball goes before you make contact is a rough thing for the scoring.
Yeah, but I was playing, to Lord's point, I was playing with golf clubs that were probably, I don't even know how old.
Yeah.
And so I was playing with a friend last summer. He says, you can get a nice set of clubs that are going to be half the weight of these for very good money. And then, so I kind of, yeah. And then in the fall, he called me and he said, listen, there's a complete setup at Dick's on sale right now. He goes, do yourself a favor, go buy them. He goes, you're never going to see this pricing again, and there's one set left. So I went up and I actually had a gift card to Dick's, but I think I got the whole set for like $550. And,
sure, yeah.
And sure enough, I get home and I'm comparing the old iron to the new iron, and I'm like, my God, how was I even swinging these old things? So, but that's good to hear with, Twofskill. I heard the membership is way up too.
Membership is way up. We're over the top. We've come out of COVID perfectly well, better than we were going in, and we've got a new men's bathroom formally being opened this coming week. Totally ripped out everything and all brand new, something that was needed to be done for years.
Good.
And the locker rooms are looking good. The bar's looking good. The course is great. So it's going to be a good year.
Yeah, and hopefully we've had enough rain over the last 3 weeks that the forecast does look much better after tomorrow, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
So, I'm sure the courses need a day or two to dry out, but
12 skill drains quickly.
Good.
So today it'll be fine. By afternoon it'll be good.
Yeah,
there'll probably be a few wet spots and bunkers may have some water in them, but it'll be fine.
Yeah, it looks like the sky is trying to lighten up a little bit out there.
Yeah,
but
I'm actually looking at the weather. It's supposed to be 61 today and sunny.
Yeah.
And it looks pretty. I mean, next week we're looking Tuesday 73.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
is it?
I do
what's
see
it
some
say
rain
for
in the
tomorrow?
forecast for tomorrow, though. Actually, only in the morning. But 69, 73%. Yeah, in the morning.
I'll tell you what. I mean, what a tremendous amount of rain last night.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Jesus.
I thought the deck at Santa Fe was going to float right down Main Street. That's. I mean, it was. I mean, it was raining like crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it was smacking against the windows. It was windy, but.
Lawrence, we're going to have to get you out at 12 Skill.
Yeah, I'd love to go. You know, the thing about Swasco, though, it's like playing Dinsmore over in Statsburg. If you don't hit it straight, you'll be yelling for all day long, and you possibly might hit one of your neighbors. Because
I met some guys for work over there years ago, and, back then I was barely playing golf. And that was like the central location. So we all meet. Like the third hole, I'm like, what am I doing here? I mean, it's long. That's a really, really nice course.
Oh, it is.
And I said to myself, if the state had any fortitude, right, knock that god-awful building down and build like a nice little clubhouse with a restaurant, because it all overlooks the valley and the mountains.
Yeah,
it's
nice.
It's got all the potential in the world, but that's a challenging golf course.
It is.
I haven't played there in years.
Yeah, it's long, and it's
an
got
old
that
cow pasture, actually.
Is it really?
Yeah, Dinsmore, yeah.
And they've got on the rough is that European, that really thick cut. And I mean, my ball went in there, and I just said, "I'll take the penalty shot." I'm like,
yeah,
no way, I'm getting it out of there. So,
well, the rain is good for some things, and others it's not. And the rain has taken a toll on the roads here in Kingston.
Oh my God.
The potholes and the misaligned manhole covers are recessed. I really decided I wanted to talk about that today.
Well, we can talk about that as long as you want, because some days I feel like I should be driving a four-wheeler to get around town.
I don't think we have enough time to talk about how bad the roads are in Kingston.
I mean, the section by Trailways
and by the round the corner by CVS, they kind of keep patching it up. But
well, the under that area, it collapsed.
Where, by CVS there?
Oh, no, by the Trailways. That whole section going just up that little hill.
What, like a sippy hole?
Oh, yeah. I mean, when at first, they were depressions at first.
Yeah, yeah.
There were 3 depressions in a row, one larger than the other. And then it started to break up with the subsequent freeze and snow and so on.
Yeah, before they put whatever they did, I mean, you couldn't even drive through there.
No, you couldn't. Well, we're dodging potholes more than we are traffic lights now.
Yeah, and people on bikes.
Well, yeah, that's a whole different story.
I would imagine that the city is waiting for it to get warmer. I know the asphalt plants aren't open yet.
Right, yeah.
So
but actually, the streets have been like this since before the asphalt plants closed last year. So,
or maybe we're going to build some more bike lanes.
I saw a guy. You know where the warehouse for Herzog's?
Yeah.
You go down.
Yeah, where the street that's about to go away.
Which is,
But I'm fine with that.
I know.
I always say that because I actually use that street all the time. Going
I do
down.
too. I do
live
too.
Uptown, so.
Right. I mean, give me a break. There's real problems in this world, like potholes.
I didn't say it as a,
no, not you. I'm saying the people that are against that closing.
That's why I'm
get over it.
Right.
So anyway, I'm driving up there, and there's a guy, and he was driving a Volvo sedan, and he's stopped at the very top of the hill. So I'm like, my God, guy's front tire busted right off the car.
Oh yeah.
Like, now he's sitting there, and it was
the rim shot right off the axle.
No, the whole it's like the tire broke off the axle, but it was still so the tire's facing forward. And I don't think it dawned. I don't know that the guy driving the car realizes what happened yet.
Probably didn't. Right.
So I roll the window down, and he's kind of looking like, "Why won't the car?" I said, "Get out of the car." And he's like, "Excuse me?" I said, your front tire is bust. Like, my concern was the car was just going to let go. And so he's like, what? I said, sir, please, your front tire is busted. And I said, I'd hate to see it roll down the hill. So he kind of like, and then he just gets out of the car, and he's like, oh my God. And I was like, do you need a phone? Do you need a call? He says, no, I have a phone here. And now there's cars behind me, so I just kind of pulled away, but potholes in Kingston.
Yeah, well, I drive the roads half a dozen or more times a day. I don't care if it's Albany Avenue or Broadway or Lucas or what it is. And I find myself dodging everything.
Albany Avenue, there's one that, you could lose your car.
Is that the one by right after Temple Emmanuel going toward? Yeah, that is. And also by Manor Avenue down there, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I saw another car yesterday that was, the front end was broken, probably tie rods let go. And I know I have to replace a front hub in one of my Jeeps because of it.
Well, it's, imagine you're not from here, and you're just cruising along trying to figure out where you're going, and boom.
Yeah.
Do other towns have problems like this?
Some do, some don't. But
yeah, interesting.
But this is our problem.
Well, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
And,
the ice storm didn't help, breaking up the ground, but, let's just hope that they, get.
But it's a forward-thinking maintenance plan, right? It's like if you let your house, ignore something at your house for years.
Right.
A little problem is going to become a big problem.
Sure it is.
I always joke, I'm in the insurance business, and people always say, will the insurance company pay to have the trees pruned? No. That's
right.
Your responsibility is almost, well, that's a lot of money. I said, no. Well, you know what a lot of money is? When that tree comes down on your house and goes through the roof. Right. Like, there is preventative maintenance, and with the ice storm, we had a ton of claims, and yes, covered property damage from a natural event. And I'll tell you that the damage was my own house. Lawrence came over with his chainsaw.
Really?
Yeah. He's not listening anymore, but
I'm reading this thing about Poopy Pelosi having COVID. Now I see that it says that she kissed Biden at the White House. Was it with or without tongue?
I hope without.
Okay.
It wasn't close contact, according to Jen Psaki, though.
Oh, yeah, she's another one.
Yeah, we'll talk about her at 8:30.
We could waste. We were worried about yesterday not having an 8:30 guest. There's 30 minutes of talking right there.
There you go. Yeah.
Hopefully YouTube doesn't turn us off.
No. Well, Well, we're good. I got Ustream ready to go.
So did you read about the new lighting manufacturing company that's coming to town?
I did, and I was actually doing some research on them yesterday.
Yeah. Interesting. Another business moving out of Brooklyn into town of Ulster and expecting to hire a fairly decent number of people. So they are manufacturing, not like just a lighting company that sells.
Yeah, they make high-end.
Yeah. But interestingly enough, I got the news from the Times Herald Record, not from the Freeman.
Well, it'll be in the Freeman next Thursday.
Yeah, right. They got to stay up on top of things.
I get a thing all the time, the Freeman, and it's just out of principle.
Every once in a while, they have a good story in there.
Yeah.
I like it for the, I love following high school sports.
Yeah.
And I just can't give. I don't know. They wanted like $11 a month for the online.
Yeah, I get it. Kingston Wire. I think it's.
Kingston Wire is great. I actually read that every day.
You're a notebook guy like myself. I like the Kingston Wire. And if you don't want to be, you can read articles for 25 cents.
Yeah, I ended up. I bought their subscription. I was doing that 25-cent thing, and then I just said, you know what, it was when they were looking to, they really needed seed money, so I said, I'll just buy the
subscription. After the 40 grand got pulled.
But that lighting company is bringing like 40 people with them.
Right.
And then going to hire another 40 to 50 people, and Is it the old? Is United Healthcare not out?
Well, I believe they're out. I don't know exactly what's happening with the building, but it's mostly vacant anyway.
I didn't realize United Healthcare wasn't out there anymore. I mean, it's that building kind of tucked in the back there, right?
Yeah, if you go down, what is that, Boyce's Lane?
Yeah.
And you don't make the bend over to go under the overpass at the old IBM facility. You go straight ahead. It's the first building on the
left. Yeah, okay. And, I mean, they're putting a lot of money into that building. So they're obviously here to, they're making a big commitment.
Yeah, they're a young company also. But they've been growing apparently by leaps and bounds, and they needed space, and here we are. So it's another good move forward.
Yeah, and it's, like you said, manufacturing. So that's, to me, that's sustainable, that's long-term.
They're also a design firm, I believe, as well.
Yeah.
So I guess if you have one of the big houses and you want special lamps and lighting, you can go to them and have them design it.
Yeah, and I was reading they have commercial clients too, like corporate.
Yeah.
Clients. So definitely an interesting niche. Welcome to Kingston. If any of those guys happen to be listening, I'd love to have them on to
get them on.
Talk about their business and
get them on the Chamber of Commerce, and we'll all back them.
Absolutely. So it's finally there's good news to report with. I'm very bullish on the that National Resources project with the old IBM.
Oh, absolutely. Have you been over to the iPark on the other side of the river, East Fishkill?
So
what they've done there?
Well, to answer your question, I've driven through it. I have an office 3 miles up the road that I used to visit a lot, but the last couple of years I haven't. So I was coming back. I have a client in Connecticut, and I was coming back, and I said I'm going to get off and just take a drive to If they can replicate what they've done down there, it'd be phenomenal. Have you been down there?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. Many times. Way back before the iPark even was established.
But
I'm very familiar with the concept.
If people aren't familiar, the folks that bought the IBM complex here in Kingston also bought the IBM complex in Fishkill.
Right.
And they're stuffed to the gills with tenants.
Yes, they are.
And a real good mix of, there's a brewery, there's business, there's, so clearly they've got a great track record.
Yeah.
And
speaking of brewery, aside here, I'm looking for a brew pub for Saugerties. So I'm putting it on the air. I need a brewery, a brew pub for a property that's for lease that we have represent up in Saugerties.
So you're looking for an operator of a brewery?
An operator, somebody who wants to expand. It's a great property, 10,000 square feet, high inside clearance to the ceilings.
Where, in the village of Saugerties?
Well, it's just outside.
Dan, you want to start a brew pub?
Yeah.
I'll let you know next week, depending on how work goes.
Yeah, it was the old
high probability.
It was the old Nelson Stone property at Twin Maple Shopping Center across from Quick Check.
Oh yeah. Well, right on the main.
Right on 9W, and and plenty of parking. It's got 2 acres to go with the lease. It's not for sale; it's for lease only. But I want to bring that one up while I have a chance.
Well, any of you aspiring brewers out there, and there's a lot of them.
Yes.
That would be actually a really good, the parking's the key.
Yeah.
Right? Because we all love Saugerties, but, it's just like uptown Kingston. You drive around, there's nowhere there's that one little lot. All right, so Bob, if somebody's interested, how do they get in touch with you?
Bob Baum, 845-242-2100.
All right, 8:30, Lawrence, we're going to take a break for a minute?
Yep.
All right, Dan Gruner, 8:30, thank you, Bob, for coming in.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
And we'll be back to you in a bit.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
Long ago, you wouldn't think of galloping on a horse while doing calligraphy. and you wouldn't have attempted to ride your bike while typing a letter, yet you think you can safely operate a multi-ton vehicle while texting? Behind the wheel is no place to multitask. If you want to BRB, drive now and text later. Lives depend on it.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Around any bend in any road, any time of the day or night, Central Hudson crews can be found working in the Hudson Valley. From Montgomery to Millerton, Freehold to Fishkill, and many points in between. We mark our work zones for safety's sake. As a driver, you can do your part too. Slow down, pay attention, put down the phone, and obey the flaggers. Be prepared to stop and maintain a safe distance from the vehicle in front of you. Safety matters.
Introducing the YMCA. Sure, you know the Y for a swim or a game of hoops, but we're more than that. We're a cause. When you take a jump shot at the Y, someone else is getting job training. Practice yoga as a team practices her leadership skills. We give people of all ages, incomes, and backgrounds a chance to learn, grow, and thrive. So while you might think of the Y as the place for lifting weights, we're also about lifting entire communities. That's the Y. We're so much more. Visit ymca.net/more.
Hi, this is Winnie from the Rosendale Seniors, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Visit their newest branch, conveniently located at the Ulster Commons Plaza in Lake Katrine. Experience the difference that local community banking offers with the convenience of another great location, easy access, plenty of parking, and a 24-hour ATM. Ulster Savings Bank, invested in community, invested in you. Member FDIC.
Okay, we're back.
All right, 8:30. 8:33.
The home stretch.
We're in the home stretch. Dan Gruner here, if you're just tuning in.
Here, I'm actually going to come in there. I feel like sitting down now.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Yeah, no,
the big guy's in the studio.
No, Dan took the chair away, so.
Yep.
Yeah, if someone wants to call in, call my cell. So there's lots of stuff to talk about.
Yeah, it's 8:30. If you're just waking up, a lot of flooding out there. Kingston City schools are closed.
But the weather does look nice.
Weather looks much better next week.
Today's supposed to get up to 61.
For all you golfers out there, hopefully.
Double check that again because it changes every 15 seconds.
Well, the reality is, if once the weather locks in,
so the flood warning's in effect till 5 p.m. But
yeah,
there's looks like sunny skies, and now it's 60s the high today. But right now it's 46 degrees in uptown Kingston, and getting warmer by the hour. So it looks like we're going to get a little rain tomorrow morning or while we're sleeping. Then it's looking good on Sunday, 50, Monday, 61, Tuesday, 73. So it's looking like spring weather, that's for sure.
Weatherman Lawrence checking in.
Yeah.
Hudson Valley Weather was saying, I was looking last night, they were saying that the Catskills sounds like might have gotten bombarded. They were the creeks overflowing, and so
Esopus Creek running.
Yeah. So
they won't have to let the Gilboa out this year then.
I know.
You know. But I remember having this conversation with Cam. I don't know if it was Cameron Rylance last year, or I don't know if it was, I forget when it was, talking about how low we were in the water table. It might have been coming out of last.
We haven't had
we've been below the water table. We're supposed to be at a certain level. I think
the snowpack has not been great the last 2 years.
It hasn't. So technically, we kind of need the water, but I mean, not as much as we had. We must have had 3 inches of rain in the last couple of days.
That's what the last forecast I saw from Hudson Valley Weather was up to 3 inches. That's a lot of water.
Yeah, yesterday, it was pretty much a steady rain all day long. I mean, like I said, I thought the outside
I was going out.
Santa Fe was going to float away.
I was going out to Adams, afterwards, so around 5 o'clock, and it was like really, really coming down.
Yeah.
So
we were talking about the budget earlier. I know we're reading the same thing here. Did you see these taxes, motorists will enjoy a partial 16. This is starting June 1st, by the way. This isn't starting anytime soon. Motorists will enjoy a partial 16 cents per gallon gas tax holiday starting June 1st, when the 8-cent sales tax and the 8-cent motor fuel tax will be lifted through December 31st. The larger 17.3 cents per gallon petroleum tax will remain in effect.
Of course.
So it will cost the state $585 million in revenue. I guess $100 million of that was supposed to go to help the MTA. I guess 17 cents is a start, but gas is expensive. And when I was in Florida last week, they're paying about the same in gas as we are, and diesel is over $5 a gallon down there as well.
And these tax holidays. If you talk to anyone, an economist, it's not the problem. Right. I mean, listen, the tax is a problem, and I'm not minimizing that. But, when we were energy independent 18 months ago, and now because of politics, we stopped being energy independent and are buying from, Russia of all places. What
you're referring to is the Keystone Pipeline, right?
Correct. Yeah. And, so we just passed a $220 billion budget in the state of New York. State of Florida is half that. And somebody looking to talk to us?
No, just listeners commenting on how great you are and I am.
But, we were talking, joking off the air, like, just bring up Jen Psaki and that'll take us to 9 o'clock. But, how she could stand up there and lie, like, if you hadn't heard,
they pay her a lot of money.
Nancy Pelosi tested positive for COVID.
Yeah, well,
2 days ago, she's given the president a kiss, but that's not close contact. Well, what is?
I think she French kissed him, but I don't want to start any rumors.
Yeah, we don't. God forbid, you spread.
She's going to be 80 this year, Poopy Pelosi. She is going to be 80 years old now. She's been in Congress. She's another one like Biden, like Mitch McConnell. They've been around, for 50 years. It's time for some, that's why I like yesterday.
What I don't understand is how does she make a government salary of, just call it, it's $170,000 or whatever it is, but she's worth $250 million.
What's her husband do for a living?
Well, he trades stocks.
Oh, yeah. Don't get me going.
That's pretty good, though.
But, no, I think some of these people, including Mitch McConnell, sometimes and I am a Republican and I'm a registered Republican. Sometimes I can't even understand a word Mitch McConnell's saying. He's like, come on, dude. It's time for some younger blood. That's why yesterday on the show we had Joe Pinion on, or I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Pinion or Pinion. He is running against Chuck Schumer in November, and I think it's time for Chucky to go. Chucky's been around for too long. And all he cares about is, obviously for the last 2 years he's been in Washington. He hasn't been doing squat from New York. And I just think it's time for some new blood,
Chuck, I do press conferences on Sunday, so people actually report on it.
He's a mutt.
He's amazing.
Chucky.
He's amazing. So
another article that I just saw in here, because there's quite a few good ones today. L.A. bans travel to Florida over the gay law. I must have. I was following. I remember. I like Ron DeSantis. I think. I like Trump, but I think Ron DeSantis should be our next president. And I know.
What's amazing to me is if you actually read what the law is, and this is politicians. It's a parents' right law. And they've immediately labeled it "Don't Say Gay" law.
Right.
The law states that kindergarten to third grade, teachers cannot talk about sex in class. I'm summarizing it.
Right.
I'm not sure how that becomes "Don't Say Gay" law. If you think it's appropriate to talk to kindergarten to third grader about sex, I think you have much bigger challenges than a governor saying we're not going to do that in our state. And now it's all over the place nationally. I'd love to have a conversation with someone about why someone thinks that's okay, right?
Did you bring that up when the two of them were on last time, or that was one of the topics you just never?
That wasn't. No, it wasn't.
That wasn't what you had. Other things are more important. Right.
Listen, this is something in Florida. It just, I think, highlights what. I'll just say what it is. How screwed up our country is right now.
Right.
You do hear things about things that go on in Kingston, but we got to start at home.
Right.
Right. I'm never gonna understand this or fix this or, sure.
I think it's just another, ridiculous California law. It's just.
Well, good luck to the people who live in California. I listen to a podcast all the time, and the guy is from California and still out there, and New York is in bad shape.
Yeah, but not like California.
California, the gas is like $7 a gallon,
and the tax, I think, it's like sales tax is almost
double.
They're
still wearing masks in school out there.
Oh my God. Well, we just gave up masks less than a month ago, so we weren't too far behind them.
Yeah.
They haven't. I've visited Florida all through COVID. Obviously not when we were on lockdown. I didn't go there, but went there when we had to before the vaccines, when I had to take the test in Florida to return into New York. Did all the proper protocols. I must have been swabbed up my nose about 16 times prior to getting the vaccine. And Florida has been without wearing masks down there since we came out of before the Delta variant. A long time ago, about I'd say well over a year ago. And when I go down there, it feels like it's it's like living like it was when we were in normal. It feels normal.
Well, I think when the dust settles, you're going to find a lot of misleading, right, paranoia that was placed upon the American people that was unnecessary, in that Florida has demonstrated that. Texas has demonstrated that.
Right.
There's an article earlier this week that my brother sent me that the widespread depression among teenage kids, and there's a lot of examples of that, and it's just heartbreaking to watch so many kids suffer and continue. Right now they're out, because a lot of families literally went into lockdown, and a kid is left to their own device of their phone to
learn about all this stuff.
And the media has convinced them they're going to die. I didn't do that. We didn't live in lockdown.
Right.
And I know certain people were very critical of me doing that, but I not only did it for myself, I did it for my son, and we were safe, but we went outside.
Right.
And we did things.
Right.
Did a lot of things we normally wouldn't do. Like, I remember one week we went down and played Frisbee golf down at Kingston Point.
Right, you're just trying to, It got to a point where it was, that's one of the things I wanted to bring up earlier about we both live on Main Street, and about the guy that's been living in the manger on Main Street in the old Dutch church. He's got a radio in there, he's got a cot in there, he's got a sheet to keep the sunlight out. We're talking about a National Historic Monument, and one of the nicest things in the city of Kingston.
I can't believe I haven't noticed this.
Well, when you leave here today, because he's got to be there, and now he was in there through the rain last night, so I'm like, oh, maybe that manger will float. The manger, they usually take it out, because they bring it in, how when that horse rides around, remember when we were kids, and our parents used to bring us there?
Yeah.
And Santa Claus or whatever, the horse used to ride around, Swart to Pete or whatever it all was, and we used to stand there, and they would throw candy at the kids. I forget what it was, but they had a little show they used to put on when we were kids. That manger would be out there from that. They just never took it away this year. So this guy is like, so he's got a chair in there. I'm thinking to myself, oh, good living, Now, meanwhile, it faces towards the street. It's facing towards Wall Street. It kind of faces towards the corner. So it actually looks, if Joe O'Connor looked out his lobby window, He could see right into the manger. It's pretty much on that side of it. But the people from the old Dutch church, I don't even know if they know the guy's in there. But how can they not know? I mean, he was listening to Metallica this morning, Master of Puppets. I was just like, oh, this is great.
Yeah, a little music to get your
day
going.
Yeah, music to get your going. You know, I was like, is he drinking coffee? Oh, that's nice. But
interesting.
Yeah. No, I've actually, that's one thing I never really noticed in Kingston until COVID. There seems to be a lot more homeless people walking around uptown.
Yes.
I know some of them used to stay, down behind the plaza and whatever. And I'm not trying to, I'm saying out by the traffic circle and stuff like that. But you never really notice them. And obviously, there's homeless people everywhere in the world, and it's terrible. But I've noticed there's a lot more uptown now. I walk back and forth to work at least 7 or 8 times a day. I go to get the mail. I go to eat. I live on Main Street. I work work right here uptown. I take different streets. Sometimes I walk John Street. Sometimes I walk Wall. Sometimes so you see things, and I'm like, God, there's a lot. And even after Chiz's closed, when there was, 1,000 crazy people walking around asking for $1 all day long, I'm like, dude, you just asked me for $1 yesterday.
Yep.
And the day before, I've been telling you no for a year now.
Wow, that's.
So I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place.
Yeah.
So it's anyway.
Yeah, I live 2.5 blocks from that old Chiz's. I kind of forgot about. I don't even know if it's sold or if
it looks empty to me. The sign is still there.
They had a fire,
right?
And there were still some people living there, and then
they moved them to the Super 8.
The county, I know, was helping relocate them, but the thing is, I was in there years ago.
It used to be the Queensberry House.
When the beginning of Chiz's. They needed help, and so a group of us went, and can't really get into why we were there, but
it's all good.
It is a massive structure.
Yeah, it's huge, and it's 2 sides. There's like a dining room. And
so when you went in, right, you see the house on the corner, and that's big in and of itself, and then it goes back and to the right and
then it goes down Washington Avenue a little.
That's what I mean. Yeah. So
it's a huge place.
Huge.
And there's probably at least 20 people living in there, right?
There was definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was 18 or 19 rooms. There's like a mess hall, a dining room.
Yeah, I mean the dining hall of itself, because part of what we were doing was delivering meals. Dining hall was big. I mean, there was at least 20 people there.
Yeah.
But. All right, positive note for the last 10 minutes.
Okay.
We talked a little bit. Tiger's back at the Masters.
Yeah, he looked good yesterday. I know when he hit that birdie on 16, people were going nuts. And like you said, yeah, when he teed off, it looked like it was Sunday on the 18th hole, and he was about to win it.
It was
like on a playoff or something.
It was amazing.
Yeah, but and to see him actually walking after, because if you looked at the car, and I'm sure you've seen the footage of the accident, a couple hundred times, like the rest of us have. I mean, that car was mangled. I mean,
he's lucky to be alive.
Yeah, he's lucky to be alive, let alone walking a golf course. So, but to see him out there, when I was watching him with Charlie, his son, was that like a month or two ago when they were playing? His son was rocking the ball.
It was good
amazing,
and he's got the whole demeanor of his dad.
He's cool, man. I thought that was awesome to see that.
So, I
mean, if you're
it's gonna be a fun weekend. I know what I'm doing Sunday. I was saying earlier how my son and his friends golf, and I said to him last night, I said, "Hey, Tiger's 1 under."
Yeah,
and he goes,
"He's in 10th place,"
and he goes,
10th.
Where? I said, "The Masters." He says, "Wait, that's this weekend?"
He
goes, "I know what we're doing Sunday."
There you go.
And I hope for everybody's sake he's still in it come Sunday. It's
he's got to shoot good today, and so he can make the cut. But right now he would.
But I was saying to Bob earlier, I was watching highlights. It was actually early this morning when I was getting ready to come here, and he has a noticeable limp, and understandably, but Augusta's really hilly.
It is. It's a tough course to walk. It's not like some of the other courses. It's
long. And obviously PGA rules. You have to walk. So you wonder how he's going to hold up. But, as a friend of mine said the other day, this is Tiger Woods. He wouldn't do it if he wasn't up to it.
Right.
Or at least mentally convinced he can do it.
Right.
So,
and even if he is hurting, he's going to grind through it just to show the world that he can do it.
Yeah.
So real quick, and I know we don't have a little bit of time left. When we had the ice storm, I know you had some problems and your pipes froze. How did all that work out? Did it ever get your claims through? Was everything able to get fixed and up and going? And
yeah,
the house is back up and running good? Because I know that was you were out of power for just as long as we were here. And I learned all that stuff because I live on Main Street too. I'm like, geez, I had power back in 9-10 hours, and you were out of it for 4 days.
Yep.
And you only live 3 blocks away from me.
Yeah,
but we're on different grids.
Yeah, the grid. If you ever talk to someone from Central Hudson, the grid, it's not like it doesn't just run up Main Street.
Right.
It's like a zigzag type thing, and that's just nobody's.
It's just the way it was.
Whoever laid it out, shame on you. But yeah, so huge shout out to Pat Gallagher, PG Home Repair.
Good.
Not only did he save my.
So you had to rip out walls and sheet.
No, we did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, the washer dryer room off the back of the house where the pipe burst, that all had to be replaced. The floor, the sheetrock, the subfloor underneath.
No roof damage or anything like that?
No, the roof. I didn't even realize this. Well, you were there helping me with the trees. That tree branch that came down on that addition roof punctured a hole in it.
Really?
That's what. So I didn't even know about that originally, and so Pat had his guy go up there, and there was a hole like the size of a baseball.
Wow.
So there was water getting in that I didn't know about. So, but yeah, we're back in action.
Did your son get a new? I know when you put the claim in, did he get a new net? Because that one goal got crushed, right?
Yeah,
that thing was bent in half, dude.
We still have the one that is good. I still have to put that claim in. I just was more focused on the big stuff right now.
And where would you go get a lacrosse net? Do you go? You
can
buy them online. You put it together yourself.
Dick's Sports, you can sometimes they'll carry them, but he's at an age now where I want the heavier duty.
Use in college.
Yeah, so you have to buy. There's a place in Albany or Lax.com over in Connecticut.
You should build a little, and then put the crease around it too. That's what you should do.
Oh,
and then you can have him start hot. Does he play attack? Does he play mid? What does he play?
He's a midfielder.
Oh, is he? Okay. Because you remember the Gate brothers? They used to play at Syracuse.
Yeah.
Remember the one? I don't know if it was Gary or Paul. I forget which one. The one guy was perfect at literally jumping over the back of the crease.
Yeah, and
sticking it in there like that.
Yeah, he's got a shot where he comes in, and if he gets approaches, he gets the crease, he goes sideways and puts it inside.
I like to bounce it. When I did play, obviously, I'm going to be 50 in a couple months. I used to when I played at Dudley. It's one of the reasons why I love going to Dudley. We played lacrosse all day long. It was one of the
great sport.
Oh, it is.
And
it's good.
Our girls' team in Kingston is. Well, the boys are very good too, but the girls' team this year they're going to have a chance to go all the way. They were phenomenal last year. They only lost 3 players.
Really?
And 3 or 4 of the girls that are seniors are going on to college to play, and I know that the Prizia girl is actually going to play D1.
Now they don't wear they don't wear pads or anything. They just
there's no contact.
No contact. It's not that's not intramural anymore. Now it's a full on sport.
No, it's full varsity, JV, and modified.
Really,
boys and girls. Yeah,
and there's enough people that want. That's crazy because I remember when we started playing when my 11th grade year is when Coach Glenn Mace started it up.
Yep,
and Steve Dukoski was on the team, and me, Rob McCurley. There was only I think we had enough to field a team.
There's 26 or 8 kids on the modified boys team,
right. Yeah.
And the girls is the same. I know my niece is playing for the first time. A lot of the girls that are into field hockey end up being enjoying lacrosse because it's similar. But it's going to be fun. I mean, the girls went up and beat Saratoga.
Oh wow!
Which people who don't know anything about lacrosse, the Capital District. lacrosse is
It's
huge
huge up there, yeah.
And
it's huge, yeah.
they went up
Hoosick
there.
Falls. There's a lot of people there.
They went up and beat them like 16-8.
And Long Island, it's big on Long Island too.
Well, that's.
Yeah. Now I tell you, besides going to Dudley, that was definitely some of the funnest summers of my life. But one year, I think I don't. Maybe I only went to one of the years. I only went to Dudley as a half season instead of full season. I wanted to go to lacrosse camp. My mother and father sent me to West Point lacrosse camp for a week. I'm telling you, all my other friends were going to Mid-Hudson football camp. I liked football, but I liked lacrosse more. I'm telling you, it was one of the best weeks of my whole life. Not only do you get to stay at West Point all week in the barracks, it was awesome. You play lacrosse all day long, scrimmages in the morning, and then games at night. I mean, it was great. We had a good time, man. But
that's actually
so much
on
fun.
my radar for my Aiden right now goes to the UAlbany camp.
Well, if they still have one West Point lacrosse
They do.
camp, yeah, you should send them there.
Well, he's done the
pricey, but it is.
He's done the 1 day camp down there. No, just one. They didn't have it last year, but I mean, they're ranked. Well, as of last week, the Army was ranked 12th in the nation.
Yeah, and the thing that I liked about going to West Point lacrosse camp is this is how I knew Long Island. Every kid that was there, they all went to Kingsport. They were all from Long Island, and these kids were, I became, when I left that week after playing, I was a way better player than I was when I got there, and it was because I was playing with, people that were just, amazing, so I was picking up new skills, but I had a blast, man.
Yeah, we're going Army, Navy, lacrosse.
Is Navy good at lacrosse?
They typically are. They're not. I mean, they're usually top 20, but they're not as good this year.
So Army's really good now, 12th in the nation, huh?
Yeah, Army's phenomenal.
Yeah,
and
good.
I got a group of people.
Now, do they play at Mikey Stadium too, or do they?
Yeah. So we're going down to April 23rd. Army, Navy,
Saturday.
at Army.
Yeah.
So I got a bunch of the parents.
Oh, nice.
For my son's team, and so I think it's like 15 or 18 of us going.
Cool. That should be fun.
Yeah, it should be awesome. But
Great.
Mikey Stadium's one of my favorite places.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Went to Army.
Don't let you tailgate there, though. You got to kind of shuttle into the place. They let you park. I've only been to an Army game once.
No, the key is you got to get somebody. Last year
Bruce McLean, I don't know if he still is. He used to be a season ticket holder. I'm sure he still is. He's a diehard Army fan.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he'll tell you stuff about. I mean, he was watching them when they were terrible, and
they're good now, though.
They are good. Yeah, I like. I've always liked West Point. And if you're ever on a boat. I remember one time I was on Joe Grimaldi's boat and we were heading south. Seeing West Point from the river is amazing as well, with the cannons and it's so cool looking, man. And every time I tell people, you're like I'll meet people, like I met just someone in Florida last week when I was getting my hair cut last Friday actually. Probably it was right around 11 o'clock. They're like, you're from Kingston, New York? I was like, yeah. They're like, that's near West Point. I was like, it's the first thing that comes up. So, okay, folks, well, we're out of time. I'm going to go in the other room. Say goodbye.
All right.
So besides watching Tiger on Sunday, hopefully being the money for the Masters, what else you got on tap?
Not much, actually. Thought we were going to have a lacrosse game tonight. Obviously, that's not happening.
They don't play on the turf at or do they still have turf at Dietz? Or they
well, the varsity JV, we play out at Miller, and that field doesn't.
Because you can really bounce a lacrosse ball off turf really well.
I tell you what,
on those old concrete.
A fast game is even faster on turf.
But you can also get really hurt really bad on those fields too.
All good.
All right, everyone.
Right. Have a good weekend.
Yeah.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
All right, buddy. Thank you, Dan.
Yep.